your mother from Turkey when,
Tell 'em
in the
that
middle of the bomb.
they're
That was
doing
the,
it,
when
yeah.
they're silent.
Doing a little bomb
Don't do that.
exercise.
Don't do that. Not good thinking, Tyler.
You're familiar with Ephesus.
But he's one of the bailiffs. It's gonna get a little.
I had the pleasure of getting to go to Easter services in the amphitheater
I would like a
at
couple minutes.
Ephesus in 1982.
Oh, Terry, that's pretty cool.
It was.
I guess where you want to throw me in there, but yeah.
Was the earth is still Christians?
All right, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. You guys will please stand for the prayer and pledge. Our dear Father in heaven, we are grateful for this evening. We are grateful for the wonderful time that we had to celebrate Thanksgiving and all the things that we are grateful for that was provided to us. We're grateful to Thee for this building that we have and for the wonderful citizens of Pryor Creek. We ask a blessing over those who are serving our country near and far, that they be protected and blessed, that they know that they are in our thoughts and in our prayers. Likewise, please be with the sick, the needy, and the afflicted, and those who need a special blessing. Help them to know that their well-being is of utmost importance to us. This time we pray that Thou be with us this evening as we handle the affairs of the city, that all will be handled well and appropriately, and that the best decisions be made for the people of Pryor Creek. And these things we say in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Attention, salute, pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You. Okay, go ahead and roll call.
Terry Lamar,
Here.
Toya Shropshire,
Here.
Lori Bradshaw,
Here.
Kenneth Brashear,
Here.
Tyler Brown,
Here.
Charles Tramble,
Here.
Chris Gontier,
Here.
Bruce Smith,
Here.
Petitions from the audience, I have one, and that is Mr. Brown.
So I wanted to address the public because this is about the only time on a petition from the audience where I can speak freely. I believe that accountability starts with oneself. I want to apologize for the manner and tone in which I spoke in the last council meeting. I'm not going to apologize for the words I used, but I'll apologize in the manner that I used them. And I think that we can all as a council do better at having some decorum. And I'm going to hold myself accountable first and start there. And I've apologized to the mayor privately. I told him that I would speak to the public about that and do it in front of everybody else as well, so that it had some level of meaning behind it. Since getting appointed and sworn in May, frustrations have continued to build to a point to where they were at a boiling point a couple weeks ago. I'm not sure that they're much better, but I'm going to do better about handling how I'm dealing with those frustrations. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, item 3, department head reports. I have a report from our billing inspector for November 2024. Craig and I did 36 paid inspections for November, an additional 16 inspections with contractors, or James and Cody from MUB, about addressing issues that came up in the community. Attended the planning and zoning and abatement meetings, worked with Trent Humphreys on issues he had in houses for abatements, reviewed several plans for remodels, new homes, had several homeowners and contractors calling or came into the office needing information about codes, additions, zoning, or services. Yeah. Okay. Johnny Jensen, Emergency Management.
Last month or so, we've been trying to catch up on our hazard mitigation plan that we've got to get in place before April. Our last plan, they're good for 5 years at a time. It's going to expire April the 1st, and we should have everything done. We're about halfway through the process, and we should have everything submitted to FEMA before April the 1st. The reason for this plan is to outline projects that the city may want to do over the next 5 years. I know funding's been an issue, but there is some projects that does not require any city funding to accomplish, like individual safe room projects. We've done a couple of those in the past. One of our previous plans, FEMA covered the cost of individuals buying shelters themselves and putting them in. And they reimburse them up to $3,000 for the cost of those. Anything over that, the individual pays for. But that's one of many projects that the city can do that does not require any funding on our part. So one thing that I will need to make it where we are eligible for the plan and make all the requirements is I will need some assistance from a couple of people from the city, 2 or 3, to participate in the next couple of meetings, and I can get with you after, and you can voluntold or whatever you want to pick out a few that might fit. And then the meetings aren't long, they're about an hour or so, and you just got to make a couple of them. And then after that, we will have our requirements met, and we'll get that plan submitted and hopefully have it approved before April.
Thank you.
Questions?
Fire, Chief Young?
We're starting to get ready for the cold weather, so the guys are prepping for that. We're trying to talk to everybody we see if they're adding supplemental heating or anything like that. Just be safe and careful for what you're doing, especially sometimes a lot of people don't think about it if it's outside for an animal, but those are usually where we have a lot of complications. People don't realize putting a heat lamp with some straw can cause some issues. So we're out and about in the community, we remind people of that, and then if anybody ever has questions, they can always call and ask us when it comes to supplemental heat. So that's what we're doing, getting ready for the cold weather. Santa brought his sled over to our side. For some reason, he didn't want over on the PD side, so I think it'll be a good Christmas for us at least. But so we're just trying to mind our manners and not make him mad till Saturday. Is it Saturday? Yeah, this Saturday. That's all we're doing.
I talked to some individuals at Illinois River Fire who they took delivery of the surplus engine that we had up recently, and I cannot express how happy they were to get that engine.
They were super pumped, and I think it'll be a great thing for those guys. And I was glad to see it go somewhere to where it served its purpose here for us, and we got great use out of it. But it's going to continue to
I think some of your firefighters spoke with them about it and talked to them about the capabilities of it. They were very impressed with the engine. They were glad that it got local, because if they had any questions, they knew they could call. But
yeah.
I think you guys helped talk to them about it and explaining everything to them. I took a phone call about it last week at GRDA, but I told them that I would publicly make sure that the recognition was there.
Yeah, appreciate that.
All right, thank you.
Anything else?
Dennis Bowman, Golf.
Good evening, everyone. The golf course experienced another great month, so we're just jumping up and down out there having some fun and taking care of a lot of people, and it's going good. But you know, winter is coming on, so we try to save everything we can save to go through these difficult winters sometimes we get in Oklahoma. I talked to Elite Fabricators, and they've got 3 bridges done, working on the 4th one. There's going to be a total of 5 getting replaced, so it's coming along really good. I went out and seen the bridges. They're going to be really nice. We're excited to get those. Recently went to the OTRF conference, and that's a conference I have to attend to keep my spray license, get my CEUs. So I finished up my 4-year cycle and on CEUs, and I'm good to spray for another 4 years. So we're doing a Christmas special for memberships out there. You know, we constantly have to market, try to get people to come out and join up and become members and enjoy our facility. So if you see anything on Facebook, if you can like it and share it, more people that see it, better chances we have of recruiting some new members and keeping our old ones. So we recently hosted on the 18th of November our employee benefit tournament. It was a kind of a last minute deal. We threw it together really quick for an event. I gave everybody a copy of all the people that played in it. That's these right here. We had 20 teams. every one of those people, you know, played in it, so they're a big part of helping make our tournament a success. And then I should have a copy of all the sponsors, and if you don't mind, I'd like to read those off real quick. I think it's important to recognize all these people. We have Elite Fabricators, McBride and McBride, Bank of Commerce, A&B Golf Shop, Agriland, Ben Shear Law Firm, Jayco, Professional Pest, Express Temps, At Your Service Rentals, Colker and Colker, Fat Toad, Lori Blue, our city treasurer, Julie Nefsker, SAA, which is,
Social Advocacy Association.
yeah,
She's our grant writer.
right, there it is. I had it on the wrong piece of paper, yeah. So Danielle, Sotelo?
Danielle Sotelo, yeah.
Yeah, it's our grant writer.
Right. So, and then the Lions Club, they put a team in also. So, with that said, you know, we were able to raise $6,030.40, and so I think I just want to tell everybody we appreciate the sponsors and all the participants in playing, and you know, for a short amount of time, we did really good. I think on hitting our goal, which is right at $50 a person, depending on how many people get a gift card. So I think there's roughly 120 or so, and so it'd be real close to $50 a person. So on behalf of all the sponsors and participants, I'd like to present y'all with a check of $6,030.40. Any questions for me?
Thank you.
Thank you for volunteering to do that.
Oh, my pleasure. Glad to.
Again, thank you to all the sponsors and players. That was a brisk morning, would you say?
It was pretty chilly to start.
You said you were glad you found some pantry.
Yes.
I would like to say that Courtney and Mike Moore were a big support on helping do a lot of fundraising too, and some of the other departments. They made a lot of phone calls also.
Carrie, the library.
You should have our fancy statistics in your email. With the exception of new library accounts, everything is down. Well, new library accounts and program attendance. So we had 65 new library accounts in November, which is 10 more than we had in October and 10 more than we had last year. But our physical checkouts, 2,335, are less than our digital checkouts of 2,436. That doesn't happen very often. I can probably think of, I think it happened in October, and I think the last time was maybe a year or two ago. Usually our physical checkouts are pretty close to digital checkouts, but physical tends to be higher than digital. So it's important to know that, especially since on today's agenda, renewing our Overdrive subscription is on there. That is what gets us these digital checkouts. So that's definitely part of our statistics that we report every month. It's part of the service that we provide. It's an essential part of our service to the community. And as you can see, it is highly used. Our door count was 2,296, which we averaged by the number of days that we're open. So that's 104 people every day. Keep in mind, on Saturdays, we're only open for 3 hours. So it's really more than that on the days that we're open longer. But still, 104 people every day in a downtown building, going there specifically for the library. And who knows, they're probably going up the street and shopping there as well. So, speaking of bringing people downtown, we have story time on Wednesdays at 11:30 and 1:30. Line dancing this week on Thursday at 6. Christy Hayhurst is our teacher, and I can say from personal experience, she's really great. She taught a class for us recently, and my daughter and I attended, and we had a really great time. And then we have holiday fun happening every Thursday this month. It'll be a movie and a craft, so it's a family, kind of a family-oriented thing. And I can't remember what movie we're showing this week, but I do know that the craft is a really cute And our friends group is having a fundraiser on January 25th. It will be a murder mystery dinner, so tickets will go on sale as soon as I can figure out Eventbrite. It should have been on Friday, but it wasn't, so probably this week. And it's called Murder at Gatsby's Gala, so it's a 20s themed speakeasy kind of situation. It should be fun. Everybody who comes will get a character, so you will be a person who has a history, and you're part of this mystery. And you might be the murderer, or you might be the victim. We won't know until we get there. And then, in this gift-giving season, since I won't see you until after the holidays, if anybody gets a new device and needs to know how to use it, that's one of the things that the library does. So if you get an iPad or a tablet or a phone or whatever, and this is for the whole public, make an appointment at the library and we can show you how to operate it, how to get things set up the way you want it to be. We can't be your IT people, but we can show you how to use the devices that you have. So, do you guys have any questions for me?
I do.
Okay.
Can you teach me how to use Cassell?
I can teach you what I know. Yeah, you bet.
She is probably the best person to teach you how to use the version that you have of Cassell.
My dashboard on Cassell is pretty fantastic. So, I'm just saying.
Because your library board meetings aren't on
Recorded?
YouTube, when I was at your meeting 2 weeks ago, your friends at the library talked about the Dolly Parton thing, and I just never knew about that, and I'm just curious if you could tell the rest of the council about what the Friends of the Library does
Yeah, you bet.
and what their fundraiser helps support.
Sure, yeah, thank you. So the Friends Group does two main things. Their main focus, their main mission is to support the library, and then their secondary mission is to increase literacy in Mays County. And the way that they are doing that is through the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, which provides every month for children aged from birth until age 5, the child will get a free book in the mail. And they're age appropriate, they're selected by Dolly Parton's people, and we all know she has great people. When my son was part of that program, I was surprised by how current the books were. They're not like old crap books that you would find in a garage sale. Like, they're current books by known authors, award-winning books. One of the things I liked best about it, on the inside cover, if you're not someone who grew up being read to, and you don't know how to read to a young person to help them with their early literacy skills, it will help you with that. It'll say, as you're reading, point to the pictures, point to the words, and give you pointers on how to increase those early literacy skills for the kids that you're reading to. And it's a totally free program for the kids in Mays County. The Friends Group does pay for the books at a very discounted price, and then the postage as well. So the fundraisers that they do, that's what they're funding. Sometimes they do a fundraiser that's specifically for Dolly Parton Imagination Library. Sometimes it's specifically for the library. This one in January will be split between the two.
And those books come addressed to the child,
Yes.
so that's kind of extra special.
And if you have two kids, different ages, they get different books because they're all age appropriate. Everybody's first book is The Little Engine That Could, because that's Dolly Parton's favorite book. But then after that, it's an age appropriate book. So you get 60 books by the time you're 5, and you have your own home library. And all the studies show that having print in the home is vital for literacy, and we also all know that increased literacy decreases poverty rates, decreases crime rates, and it makes everything better. So.
And it's for anybody in the county, not just Pryor.
Yes, and our Friends Group is the only, they're sponsoring the whole county. So they're not getting contributions from any other Friends Group or any other library in the county. It's just them. And they have 800 kids, I think, right now. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Parks and Cemetery, Frank. Frank had something come up with his family tonight that he sent me his report. It's very short and sweet. Says November was actually pretty busy. The rains early in the month kept us busy with trail work, finished up winterizing bathrooms, drinking fountains, etc. Got the lights put up. Cemetery has been busy with funerals, mowing leaves, and dirt work. Installers got started yesterday on phase 2 of the skate park, should wrap up this evening or tomorrow. Chief Kentrell, Police and Animal Shelter.
So kind of the big thing of the month, we got our new pistols all in service. We got everybody through the training. It was a 16-hour course. So all those are in service. So these will be surplus, or the old ones will be surplused coming up, and we'll pay for them. And like we had agreed months ago. So Glock's been, H&H Firearms out of Oklahoma City's been more than helpful working with us on that as far as letting us have time to get everybody through it because it was a transition period. The first of the month was all the rain and storms. We had the train tracks were knocked out, stoplights knocked out, so we've been working through some of those issues. Parades have started kicking off. We had Veterans Day Parade, toy runs, Christmas parade's coming up that we're doing. Traffic stops, I made 281 traffic stops, 36 arrests. Kind of the highlighted one was probably a semi that was coming through town. The driver was drunk. He's also on a suspended driver's license. He was trying to run people off the road. The officers got a call, and one of our officers stopped him and ended up arresting him. So. Animal shelter had 43 cats in, and then 39 dogs. They're pretty well at capacity. They're bringing them in as fast as they can get them out. I had 55 animal calls this month, so it's a lot of animal calls. Anything? Thank you.
Mr. Moore with the Rec Center.
Good evening. No, Dennis mentioned that Chase's group did a sponsorship at the tournament. They also sponsored a team, and unfortunately we were last place, so hopefully it didn't bring any shame to your practice. Yeah, I can't
It was
mention.
fine until you brought it up.
I can't mention the other two guys because Jeremy's chasing them, but they might need an attorney, so I'll send them your way. So.
But he's still good enough to play over at the Patriot, though.
All right, so we got a few things going on. We're kind of cruising. Don't really have much to report in the way of maintenance tonight, so that's a good thing. No breakdowns in the HVAC right now, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. We had 61 new members last month, 20 new Cherokee Nation memberships, 470 total still in the Cherokee Nation program. 507 people came and walked. Our total membership right now is 1,667. We did have 959 day passes that we sold, for just daily weight room, child watch, pool, that kind of thing, basketball. So that's up a little bit from last month. Did have positive cash flow. Don't have the exact just yet, but from our preliminary, we're doing okay there. Pool parties in the aquatics area, excuse me, we had 14, 12 public, 2 private. We'll have a lot of family swim over the holidays with school being out, so we'll try to accommodate that. Jackie's keeping up her lifeguard instruction certification. We'll be trying to certify some lifeguards coming up. In the fitness area, Jess Rieger, she's still working with our instructors on certifications, and she's kind of taken over our social media, keeping our Facebook page up, and so she's really digging into that, doing a nice job, and over this last month we had 36,000 views on our Facebook page, so thought that was pretty significant.
36,000?
36,000, yeah, yeah. Maintain, don't gain is kind of our big challenge this time of year. We've got 119 participants in that. Miscellaneous wise, back to the marketing was a point of emphasis for us coming into the new fiscal year. And like I said, Jess has done a good job with Facebook, but we've been putting an ad in the paper. Terry worked with us on a deal on that. We're trying to do a little more on our marquee. We're going to probably buy a couple of spots on one of these electronic boards out on Highway 69. I think try a couple months there. Our goal is 2,000 members by the time the year is over, so we've got a little ways to go, but we're trying to push that. We'll be starting another set of pickleball lessons in January, and then we do have an entry in the Christmas parade on Saturday. So, any questions? All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Buddy Glenn, Street Department.
Mine's pretty short and sweet. We've just been basically trimming limbs and stuff over the streets. It's been few of them, the trees, they're not the real big ones right now. Like I said, it's about a 3-year growth, but we're coming back through this year and starting to cut them back. It gets real windy. We moved to the alleys. We're pretty well blocked in through there, so it's not quite as bad on the guys for us cutting. We installed a drainage pipe, a driveway drainage pipe out there on Keels Road. Can't remember what their names is. My mind just.
Foreman's.
Yeah. But it wasn't their primary drive. They bought the pipe, but we dipped the ditches and installed it, put gravel on it for them. So they was very happy with that. We have run the sweeper about 3 days last week, and like I said, when it gets cold, I know we haven't been running it as much as I'd like to. But again, if it goes down, then it's just down. But we do been trying to, like I said, save it for our special occasions. We'll be running the sweeper Friday morning, getting ready for the parade, try to get all that done, set barricades out, make sure all that's done. And a couple little things, like I said, we've been, still pothole Friday. We'll still be doing all that, and little small things here and there comes in, trying to make people happy. So, other than that, that's about all we got going on.
We got asked today by the chamber if the street sweeper was gonna be in the parade this year.
Yes, it's always at the end,
Right.
accumulating fertilizer.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
specific that I asked you that, so.
Yep, yep.
Make sure you get that entry in.
Yeah, that goes on our tomato plants we got down at the shop for the next year, so.
All right, thank you. And city clerk.
Well, we haven't had a lot of exciting things going on, but we're just paper pushers, so we don't get fun stuff like they have, like fertilizer, but, we have been doing the best we can. I know you guys all want financials, so I'm just gonna focus on that, but it's almost done. I haven't actually heard Lori tonight, so I don't know if what I'm about to say is gonna get to come to fruition, but we had an issue with the update and it uncleared checks from May and June. We've worked on fixing all of that, pretty much got it fixed, and then it glitched out again. I'm needing Lori to look at it tonight. Oh, I thought she was gonna be here tonight, 'cause she usually is, but look at it and figure out if she can figure out where the glitch is coming from there. So once that is fixed, the snowball effect will go away, and I'll be able to close out all the financials through September. And she said she's almost done with October's, so that should be coming along pretty soon too, once we're able to get these actually closed. So that's that. Wish I could give it to you. Can't help it. That's where we're at.
Do you have an anticipated date?
As soon as Lori's able to get in here to look at it, I couldn't figure out why it was doing that. A long time ago, I say that, it feels like a couple months ago, the way that the reconciliation is done is it's literal check boxes. When a check hits the bank account, you go to check that box off. One time it glitched out and those boxes were checked, but it was not recognizing that the box was checked, so we unchecked it and checked it again, and it fixed the glitch. I tried that, it didn't work, so now I need her to fix it. Work her little Lori magic on it, but it just depends on whenever she can get in here to look at that, to figure out what else it's doing.
I'd like to ask you a loaded question.
Okay.
Wild guess, whatever you want to call it, are we, where we're at as far as September, up, down, back, forth, any idea at all?
So obviously we had already balanced for May and June a long time ago. So I ran a report today to see how off it was with the errors going on, and it was only a couple of $100s off of what the financial statement was when I closed out May and June. And so I went ahead and ran a September report, and these are not holding me to this, please, because like I said, I gotta get the glitch fixed so it actually balances to zero. It was like, I think 80,000 expenditures over revenue, something about that. It wasn't a very high number like it has been in the past. But I don't.
Did you say 8 or 80?
80. But like I said, the accounts are not balanced. There's a snowball effect right now. So until that is fixed in June, these reports, I can't guarantee that they're accurate. But I did run that to see that number.
Well, 80 sounds better than 300, so
Exactly.
that's what I was wondering if we.
Well, that would be for the period of September, but yeah.
I will say from the payroll reports you sent me too, that was the month that all the city buyouts hit. So honestly, I know we had at least 5 of those, which is 100,000. So if it's only 80,000 over, it's probably less than I expected it to be.
Yeah. Hopefully, I like that number, so hopefully it stays like that. But like I said, I can't guarantee it until I get those corrections fixed in there.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll move on to item 4, consent agenda. Are there any items that need to be removed?
B.
Did you say B or D?
B, as in boy.
Letter D. O. P. Q. R and S.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve. I'm guessing there's none other since there were much. A, C, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, oh no, L, M, N,
Abstain on that.
R.
No, R is one of them.
R is pulled also.
I'm sorry, I did not hear you say R.
O through S.
Okay, so let's try this again. I need a motion for A, C, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion from Brashear and a second from Gonkin. Call for the vote.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Okay. B, approve the minutes of the November 22nd, 2024 special council meeting.
So move.
We have a motion from
Second.
Lamar and a second from Shropshire. Call for the vote.
take my jacket off all the way first. Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Abstain.
Rushiers,
Abstain.
Brown,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Item D, approve claims for purchase orders through December 3rd, 2024.
Motion.
A motion from Brashear,
Second.
second from Lamar.
I have a question I'd like to direct to our attorney. Not knowing our financial situation, is it appropriate to be approving a bunch of purchase orders from the general fund if we don't know where we are financially? Could we get in any legal trouble for that if things start bouncing?
Stuff starts bouncing, you can get in trouble.
I can guarantee you that nothing's gonna bounce out of our bank account right now.
If it doesn't bounce, you won't get in trouble.
Further discussion?
I personally feel better about it if it's in the 80,000 range rather than the 200,000 or 300,000 range, so right now we can get a benefit of the doubt, and see what happens.
I may be wrong, but whenever something is issued, one of the clerks checks the account that it's being issued against to make
Yeah,
sure that there are
we-
funds available.
Yes, when we enter the purchase order, if the account balance, if there's not enough funds in that account, it pops up a warning that won't let us proceed. So if there's a purchase order here, there's an account balance, basically. But yes, somebody checks that. And that's somebody's Darla.
Did you have something? Are you good? All right, call for the vote.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
No.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
No.
Smith,
No.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
We are down to item O, approve an expenditure in the amount of $12,972.50 to American Legal Publishing Corporation for 50% of the recodification of the city code book ordinances from general recodification account 02-201-5270.
Motion.
Have a motion from Choya,
Second.
second from Lamar. Discussion?
I'm apprehensive not knowing where we are.
Have we already started this project, or is this to start the project?
No, we started this project a while ago. I believe the agreement was signed at either March or May of last year. We budgeted this exact amount because we knew this was going to happen. The amount budgeted for this account number, which you guys do have access to check, you can search the specific account number and get the account balance, as of today is $12,975.
They have gotten us we'll call it an initial draft.
Yeah.
What you call it.
Which is when the contract states that this payment is due, is upon receipt of the draft.
We're gonna owe this amount again next year, is that correct?
It is, I believe it's, the contract has the exact amount, but I believe it's either this exact amount, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, I can't.
Around, but
Yeah.
for the completed project, this is half
Correct.
of it, basically, yes?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, it'll be next fiscal year before everything's done too, so nothing else will be done this fiscal year.
When was the last time the book was recodified?
More than 10 years ago, for sure. I don't remember, I remember looking it up whenever we started all of this, but I don't remember exactly when it was.
Further discussion?
We did push through a bunch of things to change into ordinance recently, is that,
Those stay updated with them. Every time we get an ordinance filed, it goes to the codifier and they keep up with it.
That'll
They've
all
actually
be-
kept up with the ones that we filed since we got the draft to add those to the new one.
but I mean, it's all within this cost.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They expect that we're gonna continue to have ordinances because it's a
Okay.
very long process.
Good question, thank you. All right, call for the vote.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Item P, approve an expenditure in the amount of $13,464.52 to the City of McAllister Police Department for reimbursement of Jacob Graham's CLEAT Basic Academy hours to be paid from Police Miscellaneous Account 969655502.
Motion.
A motion from Choya and a second from Bradshaw.
So this is for his cleat reimbursement, which we talked about. Obviously, I was a little bit off. I was surprised as well when I got the number. I went off prior things, which Captain Trammell dealt with, and it was from Salina. I checked into it, and McAllister's correct. So basically what they charge you, if they're not, if they get out of the academy and they're not a year out, they'll charge you their hourly rate times how many hours they were in the academy, which is broke down in that sheet you've got. So what we're doing, we're taking out of that 9.6 account, which is one of our donation accounts, and the balance was, we checked today.
The number I told you was wrong. It's not very far off though. $59,957.67 as
So
of today.
that account was earmarked for the guns, which will still leave us enough for the
As of
guns.
today, then I gave you a different number.
Well, it's one of the things I was gonna discuss.
Casel's
and it's
account balance for donations is not correct. It's never been correct. My goal is to have that fixed when I have time to sit down and
Right.
fix it. But yeah, it's
So when I
what you
gave
see
you
in
that, I
Casel.
confirmed that with Darla, and so that was,
That's,
I just wanna make sure that's where we,
I got a number from you, and then I got a number from Jeremy that was different from that.
right.
And then I got another number from
Right.
Jeremy this morning that was different from those two, and then this is the fourth one. And I'm not, it's just a little bit of
They're
a,
all above 13 though, that's.
Correct.
Last
it is, honestly, it's gone up every time, so.
yeah.
Well, we had this problem last year with the,
Last year, I literally went through every revenue line item and expenditure line item for every donations account instead of looking at the balances because it's never been correct, and added up exactly what this total should have been, and it's on a spreadsheet, and I got that caught up to make sure it was.
It's my understanding that donations to the city are handled different than other accounts, and so therefore the accounting of them is a little,
They don't have to be handled differently. They can be handled,
but they have been, I guess, is what I mean.
yes, for it, as far back as the year 2000, which is as far as Casel will go back to, and that's the records that I pulled to determine the account balances.
If there was anybody that was willing to assist or volunteer to assist with getting those squared and reconciled, would you be
They're
accepting of the help?
basically reconciled on a spreadsheet. I just need to put them in Casel. That part is something that I would feel more comfortable doing myself or one of my staff members, just because it's data entry into our general ledger directly. and changing account ledgers, then that's not something that I would feel comfortable volunteering out. I would have to go back and double check everything, make sure it's done right, so. But that is a simple task if I have time to do that. It's just data entry. What I'm saying is, it'll get updated because that's been one of the biggest things I've wanted to fix since I took office.
Granted, you've been in office almost 2 years, and so that's why I'm saying, if there's somebody that's willing within the city that all they need is the access to be able to put it in there, is that something that you would be willing to accept the help?
Yeah, that's fine if they're gonna type everything.
I spoke with somebody today. Can I direct them to come talk to you about it?
Sure.
Okay.
I had a question.
That was, their complaint was that, hey, it's always kind of been hard to reconcile one way from the old way to the new way, and
It's been done wrong the whole time.
The two officers we lost at the highway patrol,
Mhm.
do we get cleat money back from those guys?
Now, they were here every year. So, say we were to, like McCall, we just sent him to Cleat. If he leaves before his year is up to another agency, then we can,
It has to be within a year.
correct.
Okay,
And that's how that works.
that's
And
what
we
I was
have to
wondering.
send them.
And it cleared up when I called Cleat. I talked to them, there's a statute on it. He said, technically, you don't have to pay it, but then they can sue you and get it because there's a statute that says that you will pay them.
So this money that's coming out of this is not coming out of the general fund?
Correct.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
Now, what it cost to outfit this new officer? Basically, I don't mean down to the dollar.
Probably around the 5,000 mark, I'd have to look at, but with uniforms and all that stuff.
So this was.
And that came out of that same account. We took that out, also took it out of the donation account. We didn't take that money out of general.
That's good, okay.
Correct. We've kept everything out of the 201 account and moved it to the 96 account for him.
Well, what I'm looking at, we paid 20,000 for one to leave, we paid 13,000 to get one back. You know, that's as far as money, the way it come out, it's gonna be all right, I think.
Correct. Because it's coming out of the 96.
Yeah, okay.
So what you're saying is the general fund, when we had that discussion, was about even swap the first year savings after. Were we taking into consideration this 13,000? I don't remember.
I was thinking 3,500. I was a little bit off, but like I said, when that came up, I started looking where we could pull it from, not to hit the general fund, and that's when we just had that money in the
So
donation.
general fund's gonna kind of wash, but we
Correct.
still.
Our donation account will go down because
The
of that.
next guy we hired, you need to have a calculator in your hand before we hire him, right?
Yes. Well, I know now how it works, so I learned.
Right, further discussion on that one? Call for the vote.
Brown,
yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Item Q, approve an expenditure in the amount of 3,000 to overdrive for library participation in the OK Virtual Library Consortium to be paid from library non-book material account 02-221-5032.
So move.
A motion from
Second.
Lamar. Who had the second? A second from Brown. Gary?
Hi, this is our digital library. We are a part of the OK Virtual Library Consortium, which is basically all of the rural libraries in Oklahoma contribute to this fund. The collection is managed by a single librarian in Stillwater with a collection development policy that is come up with and approved by the consortium. We also have the wherewithal, if we allocate the budget, which is not part of this $3,000, to buy our own copies, to purchase licenses for our own copies. But that's what this is. It's audiobooks and ebooks.
I think from being at your library meeting, which was beneficial to me, you guys are about 4% under budget. Is that accurate? 4 to 5?
Well, I don't do math in my head. So
Or
we're
about
about
42%
42% of the
year.
way through the year, and we've spent about 37% of our entire budget. I think our operations budget is like 36% maybe. So
But-
we're under budget as far as like where we are in the year, yes.
And the expenditure of these funds is probably not going to even move out of a full percent if I had to guess.
No, and it is part of the, I don't remember who all I sent it to, but I did send a spreadsheet and I was like, these are our fixed costs, these are our non-negotiables. This is, in my opinion, a non-negotiable. This is a fixed cost. It'd be like saying we can't have internet. I mean, this is a service that is vital to the library and to our community. Ask ask Amber, she knows, or Autumn rather, she knows.
If we
Oh, she's
don't
not
do,
here.
if we
She's not even here.
don't, if we don't do this, then there's a chance you'll have a falter at the library, correct?
Say it one more time.
If we don't pass this and spend this money, you could have a falter at the library because of it.
We would just be kicked out of the consortium.
Okay.
And it would probably be more expensive than $3,000 to get back in it. And I guarantee you, anytime somebody asks why we're not in Libby, I'm gonna give them your phone numbers. Because I'm not gonna take that heat. That'll be up to you guys.
I want to say this, you know, my concern is not with you. I think you have really done a really good job trying to do everything you can, and I want to give you accolades for that, because I think you've done really well. And I'm not saying I'm against this, because I'm not against it. Just some of us have a concern. We still don't know where we are financially. And like I said, this has zero to do with you.
Sure.
And so I just, like I said, I'm torn. I have confidence that you're doing right. I have confidence you're staying within your budget. I have confidence. I just don't know where we are financially, and that bothers me.
Well, I have the same opinion, except if Courtney's anywhere close at 80,000 instead of over 300,000 or 400,000, we may be coming back, I hope.
Bruce, just remember that I said that that's preliminary, okay?
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, if it's closer to 80, sure, you didn't miss 80, go to 300,000, so.
Yeah.
It sounded like
We
an
did
improvement.
budget $14,100 for this line item, and she's only spent $2,300. She's got $11,737.64 in this account number.
And this particular line item, the non-book materials, so those are things like Overdrive, Libby is the app. All of our online resources, so our Mango languages that we, so you can learn any of the 73 languages they offer. The legal forms database that we have, the business planning database, any of the DVDs that we buy for people to check out, audiobooks that we buy for people to check out. That's what non-book materials is. So pretty much most of those costs are fixed costs with the exception of DVDs and audiobooks, physical audiobooks. And also our budget was cut more than 10% this year from last year.
Thank you, Sharon.
I'm just gonna stay here because the next one's mine.
Yeah, go right ahead. We love it. That's great. All right. Further discussion? If none, go ahead and call for the vote.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Item R. Approve an expenditure in the amount of $2,606 I always say it wrong, just a
Biblionics, yeah.
Biblionics, for the renewal of integrated library system software to be paid from library supplies account 02-221-5031. Have a motion.
Motion.
Motion
Second.
from Brown, second from Bradshaw. Discussion?
Same concern, same accolades, same appreciating how hard you've been
Sure.
trying to do things.
I will take this moment to tell you what an ILS, an integrated library system is. It is the backbone of the library. So as Cassell is the backbone to the accounting of the city, this is how we have our inventory of the physical items that we have in the building. This is how we have our patron accounts. This is how we check people in, check people out. So that is what this does. It does notices for overdues, almost dues, all that stuff. Through this, because of this software, we have been able to lower our postage by a lot because it'll do phone calls and text messages, which costs us 10 cents each. And I think it breaks it down on the invoice of how much we did last fiscal year, and so that's what we're paying for. It's a great piece of software. We don't host it. They host it themselves, so there's nothing for us to maintain. It's the least expensive one I have found on the market for libraries our size. So we've been with it since December of 2017 is when we implemented the software.
Forgive me for asking, is this the same software that does your membership renewals?
Yes, yeah. And you can, we send you a text message, you can text us back. And eventually, you'll get to a human.
You don't wanna track everything by hand and pencil and paper anymore?
No, thank you. No. My handwriting's not that good.
Your handwriting is fine, Carrie. You do good. Further discussion on that? Okay, we'll call for the vote.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thank you.
Item S, approve accepting a bid from Eric and Sons Asphalt Services LLC in the amount of $157,247.10 for improvements to the cart paths at the golf course to be paid from the golf capital outlay account 41-415-5411 and $25,000 in Cherokee Nation grant funds. One other bid was received from Ellsworth Construction in the amount of $266,866.
Motion.
Second.
Motion from Joya and a second from Lamar. Did I get that right?
Mhm.
Guys are kind of in stereo there.
The reason I asked to pull this one is when I was going through the packet, I did not see a non-collusion affidavit. If I missed it, I don't know. That was my reason.
I know,
I don't recall. I can go back and pull the bidding documents and see if we got it.
There you should be on the
I mean, that's my concern, because
That's fine, yeah.
we're not supposed to approve it if we don't have it.
Yeah, weren't those in the binder, or the bound copies you gave us? I think they might have been.
I don't know. I do know my assistant looks through the bids and makes sure all of those things like that are in there. And if they're not, she usually raises the red flag to me. And I don't recall her saying anything about that.
Does Pryor doesn't just have a form, do we?
We do, but that was what came up to question the last time, is our form is very generic,
That's fine.
and it didn't cover all of the requirements.
Yeah, there is a state law that requires a certain form, and it's spelled out specifically, exactly word for word, what it's got to say.
And we actually
Is what it is.
give them the form to submit with the bid. We
Yeah,
don't.
the statute just has to be substantial. Right. Exactly.
and then my curiosity is, are we requiring a bid bond on it?
The bid bond was issued on it, yes.
Awesome, thank you. And
So, go ahead.
no, I'm sorry, is the total 157,247.10, or is it 157,247.10 plus 25,000 from the Cherokee Nation for 182?
The total of the bid was 157.
Okay, so the amount that the city's out is actually 122?
If I could speak on that, so, kind of update everybody, because I kind of got blindsided by this. Last I was told, we had to the end of the year to use this money, so I called Mr. Callison just to verify that. And he said something about in August, he issued that money to somebody else. And I didn't know about this till 2 weeks ago. So all the money would have to come out of the golf course account, which we're in good shape, but I just found out about this.
Okay, so the city's portion is gonna be the 157,247.10 then?
Correct.
Is there a chance that maybe they'll reissue next year?
I asked him, and he said he didn't know when he'd have more money.
Okay.
To be fair, we've still got 2/5 of cart paths after this, right?
Yes. And we budgeted, well, I can't remember the exact number, we budgeted 280.
280.
So my hopes is that we can do a change order, and once it's all processes done, and do all the cart paths and have them finished under budget.
Do we need to amend the motion then to remove that
We will,
Cherokee Nation grant funds?
yeah, we'll need to remove that Cherokee.
And I'll say this, for those who have been to the parking lot in my office, Eric and Sons is who did that. So if you liked it,
Is there a representative from there?
I'll give you an example of one they've done.
I don't see it.
I did check on them. I checked 3 references. I got a hold of 2, and both of them were just ecstatic about them.
And they do play golf out there, so it's nice to have, when people play golf, they tend to care about it.
So they will be driving across the road.
Right. Yeah, they're golfers, that does help.
When's the anticipated start and completion date, do we know?
We don't know yet. Weather, you know, asphalt really depends on weather.
Will you be able to continue play out there? I know it's winter time, but
Yes, yeah, we can,
just put them on the side.
yeah, we'll rope them off and head them out of the way of the construction. Absolutely.
If the council approves it, they get 10 days to get us bonds and insurance, so. And then we'll have a pre-con, so we can start, you know, within 30 days, but as far as work progressing, we can't really tell this time of year.
Dale, while we're waiting on documentation, just to let you know, after the meeting tonight, Courtney needs to talk to you about.
I got him.
Okay, all right, just trying to help you. Never mind.
The bid documents I was thinking were included in those attachment stack, but what we're needing is not, I've gotta get the physical bids.
The physical bids, though, did Charles take those with him when he left?
No, he did, but I picked them up the day after that. I have them at my
So you have
office.
those, okay.
Yes.
We can get those here, that'd be.
Yes.
And then just for record, everything else that we have.
This is everything, this packet, well, and that one, it has everything that they receive. They get one of these every time, right? And it's got
That's
everything in here that they have to fill out.
So that was immediately placed out on the counter by Jay's desk. That and the same book for the other project, the street project,
Oh, yeah, this is
are out there. So,
standard for everything. And then they have
I
to purchase.
say that because you remember last year that was concerned that you had Mr. Gontier, was those documents not being available for view here. So
That came from what happened
Right.
under a previous administration.
that's all right, but
But my question still is solely about that one item.
yeah, and we've got that because I remember when Charles went through the
Is it in
bid
there?
opening.
This is the standard one that is given to for every bidder that.
From the
bids
city?
on Any project. Huh?
Is that the city one or the state one?
This is the state one, it's the same thing.
It conforms to the state law. Because that's a standard form we use on every project we bid.
Would you like to read it to confirm?
And
This
doesn't-
is just a blank form though, right?
This is a
Correct.
blank.
So
form.
why don't we have the signed document?
He just-
We do, it's at my office.
So when
If
Charles
if
picked
I
those
knew
up-
there was an issue, I could have looked through the documents before I came.
So when Charles picked those up, they take them to review for the bonding, they make sure all the documentation
That's
is
the
there.
city form.
They do
The
the
bonds, the insurance, well, not the insurance, but
But they make sure everything
bid bond contract. Make sure the math is right, you'd be surprised how many times the math is
Can you at least give me
Okay.
can you at least give me a digital copy of that by tomorrow?
We always
yeah.
get it delivered to us too.
Yeah, I can scan it in the
Just
morning,
scan it in and then at least we've got.
and we
that
can
copy.
do that from now on. Like, any bid we have, we can scan in the original document.
Good enough for our
That'd be
paralegal
And
down
send
there.
them, you know, up here, so you'll have a copy of it.
That is,
Yes.
Is that what it was? That's the state.
It was about 7-line paragraph, and the one in the state's substantially larger.
all right.
It might work, but it just has to be substantial enough.
So
It just has to say they're not colluding.
I just know the city one had some verbiage that was not in it that the state required.
If I remember correctly, which I thought we corrected in the purchasing policy.
Yeah, I think that's fine. If we want to, make them better, we can do that. But it just has to substantially comply with it enough to word for word.
Well, and I
If
think-
it says there's no collusion, I think it covers, that's the.
I thought the issue previously really was when we required that affidavit to be submitted.
To be submitted with the bid.
Yeah, where by city policy currently, I think, says it comes in at the end with the invoice. And I think that was what we were trying to,
Both.
yeah.
We actually give them both. When they submit a pay app, we require that
Yeah.
also. So we require it with the bid and with every invoice.
So for council information, Dale will have that digitally sent to me in the morning and then we'll go from there. So if you want that, I'll just forward it on to you so you can look at it. That work for you, Mr. G?
I can't actually vote for it until it's actually with the bid.
Well, I wasn't asking for your vote. I was asking.
Yeah,
if that worked
I'd be
for that
happy
city.
to have it,
Thank
because
you.
that's the thing that's really what my
Okay.
problem
If
was.
the motion was amended to say contingent upon receiving the non-collusion affidavit, is that?
And
Maybe contingent on confirming receipt of the payment.
Jace, what do you think? You're making some faces over there.
I don't like contingent very often. It's also supposed to be submitted with it, it sounds like it was. So, if that's what it says, and then submitted at the time of the bid, that seems fine to me. I understand we don't have the physical copy here, but I get the hesitancy not to vote unless you can prove that it's here too, so. I don't know if I do a contingent.
When's the next council meeting? 2 weeks?
2 weeks?
We got
So,
this thing bid,
see, if we put the
19th.
bidding authority to infrastructure, and they did that, and Dale is principal of that coming in, he confirms that they've got that documentation in hand.
Yeah, I think
we're good to
council
go.
has physically see the thing, as long as it was done right.
Right.
You have somebody saying it was done right.
So,
You're saying that it's been done.
I didn't personally look at it, but I do have somebody at my office that looks at those things. And typically when I don't have them, she brings them up to my attention, and that was not brought up to my attention. I can't say 100% that it's in there, okay? I just gotta go look.
Okay.
Who made the motion and second on this? Was it me and you?
Pryor, and then Lamar seconded.
I'm gonna drop my second on that, and I want to make a motion that we table this to the next council meeting until the proper documents are in hand by the city.
We also need to drop that $25,000
Yes.
from the Cherokee Nation. That, if that's not available, then we need to take that out of that
Correct.
agenda. So we want to make a motion to table?
Can I say one thing here?
Sure.
Bids are only good for 30 days unless the council approves an additional 15 days, okay? And I'm speaking for you, but we just need to make sure that we're okay with extending their bid for 15 days.
The bids
Well-
were received on the 19th
That's correct,
of the,
November.
yeah, November. I was thinking it was still November. Gosh, the next council meeting is the 17th of December, so it's.
So we're good.
2 days.
Never mind.
Barely.
I think we
We're good.
probably should go ahead and add that to the motion, just to cover, just in case.
Okay.
I need to-
But please get those to us tomorrow,
As
to
soon
the
as I
mayor,
got
so
them,
we
I'll
have it in
report them.
hand. And
Yep.
That was the only flag that I had, really.
Sure. Now, when you said it wasn't included, you mean in the document you saw from me?
Right.
Okay. I don't typically send those out. The only thing that I typically send out is a notice of award and a contract and the bid tab. That's the reason you didn't see it sitting in there. So it makes me more confident that we do have that, okay? But I'll get them to the mayor and
Thank
let
you.
everybody have it.
And he means send it out with the other documents that he's talking about right now. I always get the bids after the fact. So those eventually do make their way to my office, that you just don't have them at this process.
Yeah, we always bring the original bids back because we gotta keep them 5 years by law, all of them. So, I mean, the city will get the original bids back once we verify we got bonds, insurance, contract, and everything.
As long as we have a copy, we're good. That's not a problem.
Yeah, okay.
Dale, can you?
And I'll remember that any other bid I bring in, I'll submit all the original paperwork with it. That way we'll have it.
Anything over 100,000 is what it's subject to with the Public Competitive Bidding Act of 1974 or whatever it is.
Yes.
But I think that's where Mr. Gantier is coming from that with, is that it just says that it shall be submitted with it, so.
Yeah. And like I said, that's part of our job to check it. And I'll go back in and verify it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dale, the 15 days thing, can you tell me exactly what they have to approve so I can make sure the minutes are stated correctly?
I'm gonna let Mr. Attorney answer that.
Just
okay?
what you said a minute ago about them needing to approve extending it by 15 days. How did you say that?
I think the state, I can tell you right,
Yeah, I think just
if I can look it up.
part of the motion just needs to be to extend 15 days in case we don't have that other meeting for whatever reason.
I wrote extend bid life by 15 days. Is that accurate? guys-
I'll make that, I'll make
I
that.
just wanna make sure I had the right verbiage to make it legal.
And extend it 15 days. Take out the,
Is there something in there about it, you're fine, it's a public notice.
Well, do we need to withdraw our original motion and then
You've
But we're
made a
changing
motion
it.
already,
we're
in a
changing
second?
it.
and I assumed he was seconding it. He said, I have a motion to table to next council meeting and remove the $25,000 chair creation language and extend bid life by 15 days.
Right.
Right.
If you would, extend it live, put acceptance of bid by 15 days, okay? Sorry.
Thank you.
Anything in there like that, it's fine.
All right, so we got a change from Choya
Mhm.
to the,
And a second from Lamar.
and a second from Lamar to the verbiage you just,
Backwards, but yeah.
Lamar had the second, because he dropped his second.
Lamar made the motion to table and all of those changes, and then Shropshire seconded.
Mhm.
All right, whatever you got there.
I got the right records.
Just reading through the documents that we had on file here, so sorry. All right, go ahead and call for the vote.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Brashear,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Dale, you can come back up here, we got. Item 5, Mayor's Report, discussion and possible action to allow the street department to go out for sealed bids for the South Elliott drainage project. We have a motion for that.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion from Lamar and a second from Dawson. So this South Elliott drainage project is basically going to focus on the drainage on the east side of Elliott, starting at the south part of the, we're just going to say the 15th Street block, just north of the little strip above the school there in Lincoln, which I believe is Whitaker, correct?
Wilkerson, was it?
Wilkerson.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes,
One of
Wilkerson.
those prior Ws, I apologize. And then it'll go up one city block at a time, 15th, 14th, 13th to 12. And so, if you want to kind of walk everybody through what that looks like on your end.
Sure, sure. What the plan is to go ahead and design the entire way, okay? Get the survey so we can design it. And then when we go out for bids, we'll only go out for bids a block at a time as funds allows us to.
Is this going to fix the easement mowing issue?
So the situation now is that those mowing, the mowing of those ditches
The
are almost
weeding of those ditches?
impossible. This will be leveled out. They'll be flush with the sidewalk. If you notice in the thing where I think we've even got sod put in there, we talked about, so it will level that out.
We basically gonna put pipes in the ditches and fill in. We'll put area inlets between the blocks, and that allow the water to get into the ditch and go on out. So, yes, it will allow mowing of everything.
It will, the issue though is to clarify, Tyler, is that it will not be covered up with concrete or anything. There'll still be grass to grow, it just won't be a ditch. So it'll still have to be maintained by someone to properly cut that grass.
That's correct.
But it will be easier to maintain, hopefully.
Yes.
Yes,
Than what it is now.
Will be
yes.
likely breaking ankles or whatever
Yeah.
get down in there.
Okay.
And this was discussed at length at the street department meeting, and it comes from a recommendation from us.
Any further discussion on that? Okay, call for the vote.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Brashears,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I will say, just kind of on a side note pertaining to that, there are other drainage projects that we're looking to do that are south of that, through the flow of that water drainage, that should help out some of the people down through Ridgewood, down into behind Mr. Smith's house with others. So those are all kind of being looked at right now. This was just one we needed to start the bidding process on.
What about the beaver?
All right, item
They're
6.
still gonna be there.
Item 6, city attorney's report. We need to have a motion to enter public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion from Gantier and a second from Bashir.
Can you waive the reading?
Yes, I will do
That's,
so.
it's a public hearing.
We don't have to read that part?
I mean, waiving the reading isn't waiving the reading on the agenda, it's waiving the reading of an ordinance document
Of the
that's not attached to the agenda.
We don't have to read the whole
I'm just saying, waiving the reading is something different than what you're trying to do right
Do
now.
I need to just read this whole description or? No, okay, good. So enter public hearing for the below mentioned Robert L. Schaefer, property. And that's, we've got a motion from Gantier and a second from Bashir. When you're ready, call for the vote.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw? Yes. Rushiers?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Trammell?
Yes.
Gantier?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Lamar?
Yes.
Public hearing. Do we have anybody that, Mr. Schaefer, would you like to come explain to the council what your intentions are?
My intentions is to keep the property as is.
Come all the way up to that microphone.
I'm sorry.
It's all right, it's all right.
Keep the property as is. There's 1 acre that is where a house used to be, and that's what my home, and it's gone. But there's a shop back behind it, which is on one of the other acres. There's 3 acres around it. That has been, ever since I can remember, for cattle and horses and livestock. I got a complaint filed that the grass was getting too high and it was causing problems to a guy next door, and we got someone to come in and mow it. He checked it at the end of this year, and he said, at the end of this summer, and he said it doesn't need to be done anymore, so we'll go from there. In perpetuity, that land, 4 acres, is in my son's name. It's in a will that was prepared right here in Pryor. And what he plans on doing with it is building a home for him to hire in, things like that. We will keep all 4 acres the way that they are. We're not planning on building anything more in the 3 acres that form the L, and we'll keep it mowed and all that. I just need approval to go with that.
And just for reference, those that are listening, this is the current zoning is residential single. Applicant is requesting the zone to be changed to agriculture.
One thing I didn't say, but goes along with that, the land all the way around to the east and north is all agricultural.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Is this a discussion area, or is this just listening?
You can discuss them, though.
I might add that it appears that there is nobody here in the public hearing to be in the negative about
I
this.
don't see anybody that would have been in the negative.
The only point I wanted to bring up for Mr. Schaefer's benefit was I don't believe you were ever notified that a zoning change had ever occurred to begin with. Is that accurate?
That's absolutely correct.
Which I would strongly think that we should think about doing something about notifying residents on zoning changes that it affects. I don't, it's hard to know that you need to fight something if you don't know that it's occurring, so.
And just to add to that, I come to Pryor once a month, maybe, once every other month. So I don't know what's going on until I get notified.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to conform and you don't know what you're supposed to be doing.
Where exactly is this address?
It's North Elliott.
North Elliott.
It's just north of the, well, it's just south of the curve.
Okay, all right.
Just south of the curve.
The curve is the end of Elliott and comes
I believe it's right across from the drainage work that we just did there on Nunley.
on the west side, yes.
Right, he's on the west side, you're on the east side.
That's correct.
John Mazingo's property backs up to the, is that, your property backs up to his on the back, is that correct?
I cannot.
To that pasture that's in the back there?
There's pastures back there,
Yeah.
but
You know where that's at?
anyone I would say would be 20, 50
years old as to who owned what.
Okay.
J.D. Horton used to own 20 acres up behind the three houses, across from Roosevelt, but, that's not the way anymore.
This land, is it titled in your name or your son's?
It's in my name, and,
Okay.
it was in my wife's name as well, but she's deceased, and so, local attorney has handled all that, and everything should be up to scratch.
So that, when we pulled it off the assessor's page, it is, Robert and Clayton Schaefer on the 4-acre L-shaped property, and then Robert L. Schaefer on the, but it does say and, so I'm assuming that that's the space issue, it just doesn't say Clayton, but it is in both.
And Clay is my son.
And there's an image of that in your packet if you scroll to page 41. I think it's the last thing in the packet.
Oh. Thank you.
Anything else further for public hearing? Okay, do we have a motion to exit public hearing?
Motion?
Oh, geez. We've got a motion from Gantier and a second from Toya.
Okay.
Call for the vote.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes.
Discussion and possible action regarding the application Robert L. Schaefer for a zoning change, legal as read above.
I make a motion that we do as the above says.
Okay, got a motion from Gantier,
Second.
second from Brown. Further discussion?
This went through planning and zoning and everything.
Correct.
Okay.
And I think the only opposition that was really there was the neighbor that just requested that you keep it mowed, or baled, or whatever you want to do for it.
A little history on this is, my dad used to be the superintendent of utilities here in Pryor.
Sorry, I'm
sorry.
you're very soft-spoken, we'll make sure everybody's heard.
Okay. When he bought the land in 1950, it was 8 acres. He subdivided it later into 4 acres. 4 acres was retained by my dad and his wife, my mom, and the other 4 acres was sold to 4 different people that built houses out there. So if you go around that curve, the fellow that made the complaint had a limb that was causing some problems, and he called and said to the utility board it needed to be taken care of. So they came out and they took care of it. After they took care of it, I came over and said, what do I need to do to make this thing work the way it's supposed to? And the fellow to the north of me, he said that he was having vermin come into his house because the grass out there was too high. Now, I knew before that there was a city ordinance that said that you had to have your grass on your lawn below a certain height. I don't know what that is, but I don't know it was there.
12 inches, I believe.
Excuse me?
I believe it's 12 inches.
I would agree with that, but anyway, the other 3 acres has never been mowed, except one time that I can recall, and it was to bale hay. I got maybe a ton of hay off of it. But to keep everybody satisfied and to do what needed to be done, I agreed to go ahead and have the 3 acres mowed, and I agreed to have the 1 acre mowed, and it's going to stay that way. So, what else can I tell you?
Well, thank you very much. I think you've told us what.
Thank you.
All right. Any further discussion from the council? Okay. We'll go ahead and call for the vote.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
All right, first reading of an ordinance changing and amending zoning classification from residential RS to agricultural AG of the property described as follows below.
So move with the waiving of the reading.
Second.
All right, did you get that?
Yeah.
from Gantier and from Brashear, so second.
I want to wait for both of them to be clear.
You want me to read it?
Well, the longer he stays, the better for him.
Sure. All right. Any discussion? None, we'll call for the vote.
Brown,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers.
Yes.
Just one second. Time out. We need
Yeah, hang on a second.
to take a short recess.
I don't have anything, so,
Go forward.
yeah, just go for it, push forward. Don't go for it.
We don't need it.
No.
Okay.
Motion to table it, yeah.
All right, let me read it first. Item D, possible executive session for the purpose of confidential communications with city attorney and city bargaining committee regarding the status of and ongoing actions related to local 3567 of the International Association of Firefighters, AFL-CIO CLC, collective bargaining agreement negotiations pursuant to 25-307B2, 4, and 10. Do I have a motion to table till next council?
So move.
Second.
A motion to table until next council meeting from Gantier and a second from Rushier. Call for the vote.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
And that said, there's no action on item E.
do I still need to have the same down, item E, Chase?
Consider resuming,
Yeah, table them both, I guess.
okay, so can I get a motion to table,
Yes.
consider resuming regular session, no action taken during executive
Second.
session?
Yeah.
Same, we have a motion from Gantier and a second from Rushier. Call for the vote.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Committee reports, budget personnel.
10th.
Okay. Ordinance and insurance.
The fifth Tuesday would be the 31st.
Okay. Street and maintenance.
Yes, our regular scheduled meeting is on, I think on the day of Christmas Eve. So if the schedule is right, that was put out, I think the 26th will be our next meeting, Thursday, the 26th.
that's correct.
Okay. We don't have any unforeseeable business. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
I got a motion from Gantier and a second from Rushier. Call for the vote.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Okay. All right, we'll call to order the Pryor Public Works Authority. Items 2, approve the minutes of the November 19th, 2024 meeting.
So move.
Second.
I've got a motion from Gantier and a second from Shropshire. When you're ready, call for the vote.